Okay. Hey, PJ here. Another blog post. We are only about 36 hours from getting on a plane and heading to Oklahoma and beginning this journey, this Grapes of Wrath 75 anniversary journey with the National Steinbeck Center. And so there's a lot of prep work going on right now, and more research. And I was reading something out of this book, The Harvest Gypsies, which I mentioned the other day in the other blog, and it's written by John Steinbeck. This is the precursor, some work of journalism that he actually did in the 1930s for the San Francisco Chronicle, where he went into the migrant camps and described what was going on in there. So I wanted to read to you guys something I found really quite interesting. If we can find it, here we go. Okay. The squatters' camps are located all over California. Let us see what a typical one is like. It is located on the banks of a river, near an irrigation ditch or on the side road where a spring of water is available. From a distance, it looks like a city dump. And, well, it may, for the city dumps are the sources for the material of which it is built. You can see a litter of dirty rags, of scrap iron, of houses built of weeds, of flattened cans, or of paper. It is only on close approach that it can be seen that these are homes. Here is a house built by a family who have tried to maintain a neatness. The house is 10 feet by 10 feet and is built completely of corrugated paper. The roof is peaked and the walls are tacked to a wooden frame. The dirt is swept clean, and along the irrigation ditch or in the muddy river, the wife of the family scrubs clothes without soap and tries to rinse out the mud in the muddy water. The spirit of this family is not quite broken, for the children, 3 of them, still have clothes, and the family possesses 3 old quilts and a soggy, lumpy mattress. But the money so needed for food cannot be used for soap nor for clothes. With the first rain, the carefully built house will slop down into a brown, pulpy mush. In a few months, the clothes will fray off the children's bodies, while the lack of nourishing food will subject the whole family to pneumonia when the first cold comes. 5 years ago, this family had 50 acres of land and $1,000 in the bank. The wife belonged to a sewing circle, and the man was a member of the Grange. They raised chickens, pigs, pigeons, and vegetables, and fruit for their own use, and their land produced the tall corn of the Middle West. Now they have nothing. If the husband hits every harvest without delay and works the maximum time, he may make $400 this year. But if anything happens, if his old car breaks down, if he's late and misses a harvest or 2, he will have to feed his whole family on as little as $150. But there is still pride in this family. Wherever they stop, they still try to put the children in school. It may be that the children will be in school for as much as a month before they are moved to another locality. Here, in the faces of the husband and his wife, you begin to see an expression you will notice on every face, not worry, but absolute terror of starvation that crowds in against the borders of the camp. This man has tried to make a toilet by digging a hole in the ground near his paper house and surrounding it with an old piece of burlap. But he will only do things like this year. He is a newcomer, and his spirit and decency and his sense of his own dignity have not quite been wiped out. Next year, he'll be more like his next-door neighbor. This is a family of 6, a man, his wife, and 4 children. They live in a tent the color of the ground. Rot has set in on the canvas, so that the flaps and the sides hang in tatters and are held together with bits of rusty baling wire. There is one bed in the family, and that is a big tick lying on the ground inside the tent. They have 1 quilt and a piece of canvas for bedding. The sleeping arrangement is clever. Mother and father lie down together, and 2 children lie between them. Then, heading the other way, the other 2 children lie, the littler ones. If mother and father sleep with their legs spread wide, there is room for the legs of the children. There is more filth here. The tent is full of flies clinging to the apple box that is the dinner table, buzzing around the foul clothes of the children, particularly the baby, who has not been bathed nor cleaned for several days. This family has been out on the road for longer than the builder of the paper house. There is no toilet here, but there is a clump of willows nearby where human feces lie exposed to the flies, the same flies that are in the tent. 2 weeks ago, there was another child, a 4-year-old boy. For a few weeks, they had noticed that he was kind of lackadaisical, that his eyes had been feverish. They had given him the best place in the bed between father and mother, but one night he went into convulsions and died. And the next morning, the coroner's wagon took him away. It was one step down. They know pretty well that it was a diet of fresh fruit, beans, and little else that caused his death. He had no milk for months. With this death, there came a change of mind in his family. The father and mother now feel that paralyzed dullness with which the mind protects itself against too much sorrow and too much pain. And this father will not be able to make the maximum of $400 a year anymore because he is no longer alert. He isn't quick at piecework, and he's not able to fight clear of the dullness that has settled on him. His spirit is losing caste rapidly. The dullness shows in the faces of this family, and in addition there is a sullenness that makes them taciturn. Sometimes they still start the older children off to school, but the little ragged things will not go. They hide in the ditches or wander off by themselves until it's time to go back to the tent because they are scorned in the school. The better dressed children shout and jeer, and teachers are quite often impatient with these additions to their duties, and the parents of the nice children do not want to have disease carriers in the schools. The father of this family once had a little grocery store, and his family lived in the backs of it, so even the children could wait on the counter. When the drought set in, there was no trade for the store anymore. This is the middle class of the squatters' camp. In a few months, this family will slip down to the lower class. Dignity is all gone, and the spirit is turned to sullen anger before it dies. The next-door neighbor family of man, wife, and 3 children of from 3 to 9 years of age have built a house by driving willow branches into the ground and rattling weeds, tin, old paper, and strips of carpet against them. A few branches are placed over the top to keep the noonday sun out. It would not turn water at all. There is no bed. Somewhere the family has found a big piece of old carpet. It is on the ground. To go to bed, the members of the family lie on the ground and fold the carpet over them. The 3-year-old child has a gunny sack tied around his middle for clothing. He has a swollen belly caused by malnutrition. He sits on the ground in the sun in front of the house, and little black fruit flies buzz in circles and land on his closed eyes and crawl up his nose until he weakly brushes them away. They try to get at the mucus in the eye corners. This child seems to have the reactions of a baby much younger. The first year he had a little milk, but he has had none since. He will die in a very short time. The older children may survive. 4 nights ago, the mother had a baby in the tent on the dirty carpet. It was born dead, which is just as well because she could not have fed it at the breast. Her own diet will not produce milk. After it was born, and she had seen that it was dead, the mother rolled over and lay still for 2 days. She is up today, tottering around. The last baby, born less than a year ago, lived a week. This woman's eyes have the glazed, faraway look of a sleepwalker's eyes. She does not wash clothes anymore. The drive that makes for cleanliness has been drained out of her, and she hasn't the energy. The husband was a sharecropper once, but he couldn't make it go, and now he's lost even the desire to talk. He will not look directly at you, for that requires will, and will needs strength. He is a bad field worker for the same reason. It takes him a long time to make up his mind, so he's always late in moving and late in arriving in the fields. His top wage, when he can find work now, which isn't often, is $1 a day. The children do not even go to the willow clump anymore. They squat where they are and kick a little dirt. The father is vaguely aware that there's a culture of hookworm in the mud along the riverbank, and he knows his children will get it on their bare feet, but he hasn't the will nor the energy to resist. Too many things have happened to him. This is the lower class of the camp. This is what the man in the tent will be in 6 months. What the man in the paper house with its peaked roof will be in a year. After his house has washed down and his children have sickened and died. After the loss of dignity and spirit have cut him down to a kind of subhumanity. So that was life in these migrant worker camps in the 1930s and the Dust Bowl and the Depression. It's It's really intense. Really, really intense. So, let's have a discussion about it. You know, you can make comments in the area below the video, and